Do you ever feel hurt when you see how many people unsubscribed from your emails? And does that feeling ever make you question what to send and how often to send your emails? If so, today's episode is for you. Welcome to the Soulful Sales Show, where we talk about believing in the value of your offers, getting them in front of your right people, and selling more of what you do in your unique way. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Sales Show. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about something that I don't think I have spoken about specifically on the podcast before, but it is something that comes up with my clients all the time. And that topic is embracing email unsubscribes. Because if you are focusing on building an email list and sending lots of emails as a main marketing channel, which I believe we all should be, then unsubscribes are a fact of life. But how we look at them can really affect our energy and how we choose to communicate with our list, depending on which way we look at them. So what I want to say, first of all, is that it is human nature. It is really natural to be affected when we see that people are actively opting out of our emails. So please don't beat yourself up if you find it hard to see those unsubscribes. It makes sense, right? Especially with the kind of people that I work with and the kind of person I am. You know, we are often very sensitive to rejection. And the unsubscribes can really feel like rejection. So the fact of it is, though, is that they aren't rejection. And that is the mindset shift that I really want to give you in this episode. Practically speaking, though, before I dive into why they are not rejection, I want you, if you have that thing in your email marketing service provider that sends you an email when you get an unsubscribe, I want you to pause this episode and go and turn that off, because it is really, really not helpful. I promise you, there is absolutely no reason why you need that. You do not need that, okay? I used to have that way back when I first started my business, but you don't need that. And practically speaking, you don't even need to check your unsubscribes generally, and I would recommend that most of us don't check them. It's really hard sometimes to stop yourself from checking it, especially when you're looking at other stats. But you really don't need to check it. And most of the time, I don't check the unsubscribes from my emails. Every now and again, I will go in and check because my curiosity gets the better of me. But it's not helpful to look at the individual email addresses. The only thing that is helpful when it comes to unsubscribes, well, the first thing that's helpful is just to check that you are within the industry benchmarks. And I think it's something like 0.5% of your total subscriber number. Staying under that is good. So if you had 1,000 subscribers, you'd want 5 or less people unsubscribing. So there's that. And there's also just checking your unsubscribe numbers against your own business and looking for trends there. So for example, in my business, I know it's very normal when I've done a big event, like I've been part of someone else's bundle or I've done my own summit. I know it's normal for my unsubscribe rate to go up during those times, and I don't worry about it. But if I noticed a spike that was out of the ordinary for me, that would be a sign that I could go in and look for maybe something that's changed or what could be off there. Aside from that, unsubscribes are completely normal and you don't need to obsess about them, okay? So that's the practical side of the unsubscribes. Now let's talk about the feeling side, because this for me is the bigger thing. So I want you to check in with yourself for a moment. Have you ever made a decision about whether to send an email or what to say in an email or how much to sell based on a fear of people unsubscribing? And I can bet that the answer is probably yes. And this is what we need to be checking in with. Because the truth is that when you are making decisions about what to write to your email list or how frequently to email your list, or maybe you're deciding not to send that extra launch email because your unsubscribes have been a bit up during a launch. Again, totally normal when you are launching to have your unsubscribe rate increase a bit. When you are making decisions based on fear that people are going to unsubscribe, it means that you are focusing on the people that your work is not right for. Now, let me repeat that again. When you are making decisions about what to send or how often to send emails based on fear and wanting to avoid unsubscribes, it means that you are trying to create content for the people that your offer is not right for. Does that make sense? So if you are focusing on the people that your work and your offers are right for, then what would the unsubscribes mean to you then? What they would probably mean is that, okay, the people who are unsubscribing are not your dream clients, or the people that are unsubscribing are not your dream clients yet or at this time. And that's actually a very important point that I want to make as well. A lot of people who unsubscribe will come back. So I don't even decide like, they're just wrong for me. They're just self-selecting out and they're never going to come back. Like, they can come back, right? It's just that they're not my dream client at the time. So this is really the mindset that I want to get you to think about. If you are writing for the top 1% of the people who your offer and your work and your philosophy and your personality is absolutely right for, how would you look at unsubscribers then? Practically speaking as well, it's really, really helpful that people can unsubscribe because firstly, it helps to keep your email list much more engaged. It's really important to have an engaged email list because it helps with your deliverability rates. The more that people are opening your emails, engaging with your emails, not marking them as spam, hopefully replying to your emails. All of these things are signals to email service providers that your emails are quality and that they should get through the filters. So really good for deliverability. And your stats are more accurate in terms of like your open rates and stuff. When you know that your email list is full of the people who actually want to be there, it helps you to look at those other stats like open rates and click-through rates and actually get more meaningful information. This is why, by the way, also, as well as embracing the unsubscribers, it's really helpful every now and again to delete cold subscribers, people who have been on our list for a long time but haven't opened or clicked a link within our emails for several months. But that's a whole side topic, but it is kind of related here. But yeah, the truth of the matter is that often I think of it as a bit of a vanity metric, although kind of in the opposite way, if that makes sense. When we see unsubscribes, it hurts our ego. We often make it mean something. We start to focus on the people who are leaving rather than the people that are there. But the truth is, a smaller, more engaged email list is so much more valuable to you than a larger, totally indifferent email list. And focusing on the smaller engaged portion of your email list is far more powerful for your selling and your connections and your marketing than focusing on appealing to the masses. I often use this kind of saying to illustrate the point, but it's like trying to be a bland vanilla ice cream. Now, no hate to anyone who loves the vanilla flavor, but it's like trying to appeal to the masses versus being the rum and raisin ice cream that not everyone likes. And some people actually be really like put off by, but the people who love it really love it, you know? So it's like that thing, speak to everyone, try to speak to everyone and you'll end up speaking to no one. The same applies here. Let's stop focusing on the people who aren't liking what it is that we do and focus more on the people that do like what it is that we do. Like I said, if you notice in relation to your own trends that you've got a spike in unsubscribes, then yes, there is something to look at there. But generally, it's normal to get unsubscribes all the time. And at this point in my business, I regularly get over 20 unsubscribes per email. And it was really interesting because literally today talking to a client about unsubscribes and she was talking about getting, 1 or 2. And I was saying, yeah, I often get over 20. And sometimes I will send out an email and I get more. This doesn't happen often, but it really hits the ego when it does happen. Sometimes I'll send out an email and I'll get more unsubscribes than I will clicks. And that really, like I said, it really hits the ego, but I want to share it. I want to normalize the fact that it happens. Not every email I send is my best email ever. And sometimes I don't get the clicks, right? But I really have to bring myself back into asking myself, what am I making this mean? And that really is the key question for you. If you have feelings come up when you notice unsubscribes, as well as avoiding checking as much as possible, you have to ask yourself, what am I making this mean? And I also think this is especially important when we notice someone unsubscribing that we actually know in some way. Maybe it's a past client, maybe it's someone we know in real life. Sometimes those ones can affect us really, really strongly. And again, you have to ask yourself, what am I making it mean? Because often what we'll be making it mean is, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. They hate what I'm doing. Sometimes I've had this come up when a past one-to-one client. So obviously my one-to-one clients are the closest people I work with. When a past one-to-one client has unsubscribed, I thought, oh, they don't like this new direction I'm going in. They think I've changed. They think I'm, and all it's doing is bringing up the fears that were already there, lying dormant under the surface. So it's kind of helpful in a way to see what's coming up and then asking myself, what else could be true? What else could be true? They're cleaning up their inbox. Often what happens is a lot of people will unsubscribe because they have multiple emails of theirs subscribed to my list, in which case it doesn't even mean a thing. And sometimes they leave for a while, they come back, and sometimes, we go in different directions, and that is actually okay as well. It's really about me being clear on, okay, well, how do I want to show up? Does that one person unsubscribing really change the course of my business and how I'm connecting with people and how I want to show up? Because if not, then I have to get back into alignment, focus on the people that are right for my emails, the people that are not unsubscribing, and really, really tune into my heart and speak to them instead. So I think this is a really short and sweet episode, but I think it's really important. And I think the key question really is, are you writing your emails based on fear and not wanting to get unsubscribes, or are you writing your emails and sending as many emails as you want based on the people who will potentially love, need, and benefit from your offers? That really is the key question. And just remember that every unsubscribe you get is helping you carve that incredible community of people that truly wants to hear from you. The benefit of email marketing is that people can opt out. Knowing that they can choose to opt out at any time actually empowers me to send more emails when I want to send more emails, because people have a choice to be there and I have a choice to speak to the ones that choose to stay. So yeah, that is all I have to say on unsubscribes. It's a process. You're not just going to suddenly flip a switch and get rid of all those human feelings that you have about unsubscribes, but you can ask yourself that question: what am I making it mean, and what could be true instead? And I promise you, unsubscribes are very, very normal. And if you are going to become that business owner who has thousands and thousands and thousands of people on your email list, then this is something that you are going to have to get comfortable with over time. And if you do want more support with staying with this mindset shift, then come and join my $7 membership, the Soulful Growth Club. It is all about tuning into yourself to get imperfectly visible and grow your audience of right people. That is at ruthpoundwhite.com/SGC. So I hope that helped, and I'll catch you again for another episode next week. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Soulful Sales. If you have a moment to rate and review, know that it really does make a difference. And if you'd like to carry on the conversation, then you can connect with me on Instagram at Ruth Poundwhite, sign up to my newsletter at ruthpoundwhite.com/newsletter, or my personal favorite, join me inside the low ticket membership at ruthpoundwhite.com/membership. And keep doing what you're doing, because your work really does matter.